Hello guys, today we continue on Final Fantasy XIII-2 by going to Yaschas Massif, 110 AF, another optional area for us, to collect some more fragments.
The disappearances of numerous Academy staff members were followed by the discovery of strange floating orbs. Something terrible had happened, but no one knew what it might mean. A method to reverse the paradox was never found, and with the passing of the years, the Crimson Spheres simply became another part of the scenery.
This is pretty much the same layout as the other time periods, but we are actually able to complete the exploring in this one. So you can get the 100% exploration. And you may as well while we're here.
Ruins of what was once the most prosperous city in the world. Many of the scientists and researchers who came to investigate the site have gone missing. And when they do, ominous sphere-shaped objects appear in their place. Mog seemed to know all about the orbs. He told us they're called the Rubies of Grief. They're manifestations of the remorse and sadness left by the unlucky souls who disappeared into the paradox. The orbs resonate with a powerful emotion sealed inside. What kind of message are they trying to tell us?
The quests in this area are given by these big red balls, don't ask me why. Instead, just approach the first one and interact with it for the first side quest.
Hey Noel, do you feel that?
Yeah, it's like someone's talking to me inside my head.
What you heard were the voices of the tormented victims who disappeared into the void beyond, Kubo. Their grief and anguish remain here, Kubo.
I get it.
Right, so we need to go and collect some wedding jewellery, and we're looking for a person called Millie. That's who we're going to get it off. So we're going to go back out of this place, up the ramp, and out into the wild, which is where the person is. Now, while you're in the areas where there's random encounters, if you're lucky, you might encounter the green chocobo. This is a pretty good healer. In fact, it's probably the best healer monster in the game. So you'll definitely probably want to get that crystal before we leave this place. Again, it's those chocobos that use the Geishal greens as you're riding them, as well as when you get on one, so don't use them unless you have to. And the person we're looking for is in this area that we couldn't previously enter. So you can see it's dark on my map. And you'll have to use the Moogle hunt to reveal her. And then when you've done that, you can interact for the quest item.
Where am I? What happened to me? I think I got sucked into the paradox. I remember having an argument with my sister, and then I was here. But I know it's not her fault. It's not anyone's fault. I understand that. But if I know her, she's blaming herself for my disappearance. She must be so distraught. Can I ask a favor of you? If you see my sister, tell her that I love her very much, and that none of this was her fault. As much as I want to, I know I can't go home and tell her myself. I was swallowed up by paradox. I was attacked by the monster. I just don't belong in this world anymore.
It looks like there's a little bit more of the map just there that I haven't yet explored, so I'll just grab that, only a small section. And after we've got the quest item, we can pretty much head back to the quest giver, the big red orb. We're aiming for about 16k CP before we leave this place. But if you want to farm for the green chocobo a bit later on, then you should be able to get that before we leave anyway. But in the meantime, I'd advise that you don't run from the battles. So, might just save you doing a little bit of farming later anyway. there is still actually another time period for this, for Yaschas Massif. This is already the third one, I think. There is another one in a bit. There's a quest up here, an item up here, which is a gate seal. So make sure to grab that at some point while you're here. So again, to speak with the big red ruby to hand in the quest.
Welcome to the fallen city of Padra. We don't get a lot of visitors around these parts, although not. There was a powerful a group of Academy staff were investigating that's why so many sections have been closed.
So there's our first fragment. And now one of the other red big ruby ball things has got a quest for us. Just down here. So go and pick that up. Okay, now we need to go and get the service manual first of all, which is just in the command centre where Elisa and Hope were hanging out before.
To this day, I haven't missed a second of training.
I don't want to work in this kind of environment for much longer.
And as you come up the ramp, it's literally just at the top. And no surprise, you have to use the Moogle hunt to reveal it. You can see a little bit of undiscovered area on the map. We couldn't actually reach that before, so we can now, so you might want to just grab that before you forget later. It's just that little bit there. And now we can head back down and finish off with this quest. We haven't actually done yet, we're not actually done with it, we've actually got to go and speak to somebody else before it's finished. So again, we want to head back out of this area. Now unfortunately, we are going to have to use a chocobo. The person we need to reach is unreachable without one. So make sure you have, I think you'll need, you shouldn't need any more than 2 Gysahl Green, to be honest. Just use this chocobo down here, and then when you get on it as quickly as you can, get to the raised area, which I'll show you where it is. So follow my path so you know where you're going, that way you hopefully won't end up using more than 2. It's just up here literally, we've been here before in one of the other periods. There's the second Gysahl Green, now you can get off. And interact with this person.
You got questions about
And when the live trigger comes up, choose the manual.
I'm your man. What? Someone told you that there's a problem with the way I do things around here? Who told you that? Whoever it was is a lying son of a gun! Ah, so I see you finally got your hands on a manual. Mind if I take a look at it? What in the... I thought my method was 100% by the book. This makes sense. With the way I currently have things set up, if there's a problem with one of the lights, it can cause all of the other lights to switch off, too. It looks like I need to make a few changes. If I continued to do things my way, it would have led to an awful accident. I guess I owe you a big thanks for pointing it out. A lot of what's in this manual is highly technical stuff. Did you figure it out on your own, or did you have someone explain it to you? If it's the latter, tell them I said thanks.
Okay, so we can hand that quest back in now when we're ready. But before we do, I'm going to grab the quest item for the next red ball, so that we can hand it straight in when we pick it up. And also, if you look over this cliff here, you can see an item that Mog can get. That's actually a quest item for a side quest we've picked up in the first Yaschas Massif time period. To collect a watch, you might remember it. So we can hand that in a little while as well. For now though, we need to get the other quest item that we have for the quest we haven't yet picked up. I know it's confusing, but just use your Moogle hunt ability here and grab that. The terrorist's mark. And now we can head back to the village thing. Yeah, I think I'll just leave them. I'm close to my 16k CP anyway. So, once we've done the objectives here, I'm going to try and farm for the green chocobo. So, hand in the quest when you return.
Maybe we could use bots to handle the workload.
And now the next Ruby of Grief is back in the command centre where Hope and Elisa were. So we can head there now.
The Farseer of Padra was a girl.
Actually, it's not in the command centre, it's further up, but it's that direction.
I don't want to work in this kind of environment for much longer.
So just to the left and up the next ramp, and then just literally follow it all the way to the top.
I wonder what kind of person is brave enough to become a guardian.
You can tell when you get close to the rubies because the screen starts to vibrate a little bit.
I wonder what kind of
in the
future
controller.
people of Padra envision.
I wish there was a way to cut down on our allies.
I wonder. How did
Since we already had the quest item, you can obviously hand it straight back in to collect your next fragment. And once you've done that, a blue quest waypoint marker appears down the very bottom southwest of the map. That's where we'll be heading to next. And we've got some puzzles coming up, some quite irritating puzzles in fact. So we'll head to that next. Just head all the way down to the bottom.
Started to spread like a plague, Kubel. If it wasn't stabbed, it would have swallowed the whole realm.
Okay, so since we've got the waypoint down the bottom of the map, and we've come up and down about 10 times already over the various time periods, I'm just going to skip ahead. I don't think you need to watch me go all the way back down. Let's encounter a distortion, a space-time distortion, as a random encounter. You can actually beat the monster, but it spawns. Just make sure you go into Delta Attack from the very start of the battle, and don't leave Delta Attack at all.
I hear you.
And then stagger it as quickly as you can and you should be able to finish it off. For now though, when you reach the paradox, we've got some bloody awful puzzles coming up. They're new ones that we haven't done before. They're called Hands of Time puzzles. And I love puzzle games as much as the next person. Portal 1, Portal 2 I thought were brilliant. But Square, let me tell you, these are not fun. They are very frustrating. And unfortunately, they are random every time. Which means that you can't just copy what I do, since you're going to have a different set of numbers. So, two things then. First of all, I'll give you a brief explanation on how they work. And then, secondly, I'll tell you a cheaty way. So first of all, if you want to actually do these without cheating, the way they work is quite simple once you understand. You stand on a number, you have to clear all the numbers to beat the puzzle. You stand on a number And when you activate that number, each of the hands, the clock hands, move in the opposite direction that many spaces. So for instance, if I stand on this 2, each hand will move 2 spaces after it deletes that number. The problem is, if both hands reach an empty space, then you have to start from the beginning. You have to always get at least one hand to land on a number. So that's the way it works. And the first couple are pretty easy, because they've only got a few numbers. But as you go on, you get more numbers, and it makes it really quite difficult. So, the cheaty way is this. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to a website that gives you the solution. Basically, you'll pause the game because of your time limit, and then write the numbers down in clockwise order. So as you go around the clockwise, just write those numbers down in the form on the website, and then hit the solve button, and it'll tell you the order in which to use the hands. That's pretty much the way I do it, to be honest. I mean, when it comes to this many numbers, it's just a pain in the ass. So you can see me solving it really quickly. I'm actually not. I've got the solution right in front of me. Just make sure that as you're using the website, you do pause your game. Otherwise, you don't want your time limit to run out while you're doing it. But you are, of course, welcome to try and solve them yourself. If you do fail, you run out of time or whatever reason, then when you start again, you'll have a completely different set of numbers to deal with. So it really is random.
We stepped into the rift and solved the paradox. It was the same paradox, the same ancient threat that Yule had banished into the void beyond so long ago. The Cirrus distorted the timeline to save an entire city. But I have to wonder, what went through her mind as she performed such an act? Did she know how her intervention would change things? Did she look into the future? Was she able to see the consequences of what she did?
The last fragment we're going to get for now, and we're just going to farm our 16,000 CP and try and get the green chocobo at the same time. So I'm just going to edit out the video as I do that. Not before I grab this chest though. So once we've got 16,000 CP and a green chocobo, which is, there's mine, look. I got it on, I think, the 3rd or 4th fight. We can spend our points. So if you can get your chocobo up to level 30, which you may be able to, I think I can here, it can actually replace your Flanitor if you want it to. The feral link for the green chocobo, in my opinion, is not as good as the Flanitor. As you probably know, the Flanitor, when you use the feral link, pretty much heals your whole party to full. And for that reason, you might want to keep the Flanitor as your healer for quite a while longer. I'm quite happy to replace it. So I'm going to try and get the chocobo up as high as I can and use that instead. And then, of course, as we go through the game, we'll keep levelling it up. So I think I can fully upgrade the chocobo through the level 1 and level 2 sections. Okay, so I am actually going to use the chocobo for definite. And let's level up Sarah. And if you're following through with how I'm spending my points, then I'll just tell you how I'm putting my points into this level. So for Sarah, I'm going to put 4 points into her Ravager roll, so that'll level it up to 62. We're going to level the Sentinel roll up to 21 by investing 16 points. And we're going to level the Saboteur roll up to level 60 by investing 10 points. So that'll be a nice boost for Sarah. And also we're going to, for her roll bonus, select a brand new ability called Ultima Arrow. And it's actually quite a powerful ability you can use in battle. You can only use it once per battle, and it does use 5 active time slots. So just going to select that right down the bottom. And for Noel, we're going to pop a point into his commando roll, so put that to 70. Then we're going to put 13 points into his sentinel roll, so bumping out to 16. And 16 points into his synergist roll, making that up to level 43. It is useful now to start putting points into the sentinel rolls, since a lot of the bosses will do massive AoE damage, especially some of the optional bosses. And the tortoise paradigm, which uses 3 sentinels, will be a lot more useful if we've got some high powered sentinels in the group. And we're going to select the Meteor Javelin, which is Noel's special ability. And for the next Crystarium expansion, we're going to need just shy of 20,000 CP. So don't be scared to do some farming and that in your own time when you want to collect that. Now that pretty much ends the optional stuff for the minute. We're going to carry on with some story objectives. You might want to go and farm for some materials to level your Chocobo up a bit more. If you want the level 4 materials, then go to the Arcalite Steppe, set it to rainy, and kill the mud frogs over in the western marshes. If not though, or if you've done that, then feel free to carry on with the next video. We're going to be, as I say, carrying on with the story, and we're going to Academia 400 AF. It's a pretty nightmare of an area. I don't really like it that much, so let's get it done. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time.